it's Michelle from Movement Lesson. I wanted to talk, and I'm going to have a couple of lives now that YouTube has them, on vision and development. There's many reasons why vision is important to your child, and one of them is balance. Now I know you and I think that balance comes from the inner ear. And yes, if your inner ear gets damaged, you can have balance issues. But balance comes from all different directions, and it starts off from your eyes. It starts off in two different ways. One is the filaments, meaning that your eyes aren't meant to see the first couple of weeks of life. Why? Because you are working on the neutrality of your body, right? And so a baby is not meant to focus. When it starts to focus, right, and this is where I have my O-balls here, when it starts to focus, there's a rotation in the eyes. Now, for a lot of children, you might have things that you've heard about called a lazy eye, right? Which, if it's not corrected, comes into a form of strabismus, or is esotropia, right? I'm going to talk about the eye coming in. So when my eye comes in, like my right eye does right now, that's what you're looking at. And I want to explain it to you how it can affect development, because people think that vision is separate from the body, and it's not. It's very integrated. So when you have vision, now first of all, the cornea weighs more. Like this ball, that's why I have it. I can't find a ball with just one rattle on the side, obviously. So when the body is moving around and the eyes are moving in this type of direction, that happens. So when the cornea is that's the heavier part of the eye, and it's subtle, but think of a top when I spin it, right? If I have a little bit of tape on that top, or if I spin here, my ball will seem balanced. But if I spin, let's say, more here, I might not have that type of balance because my rattles are off, right? So when the eye wants to come in, there's a difference between this type of balance, right? Or a balance, let's say here, versus again this fall, right? So that's what happens when the eye starts to come in. It almost, it's like it's falling, right? And now the baby has to struggle, and this is where here I've got here nice water, right? So you see the difference. No matter what I do, this water will counter, right? That's what an eye is meant to do. So you've got two eyes, and this is where your body is neuromapping its first inner balance. Balance is not center of gravity, near belly button, things like that. It's in all areas. That's why when we have cartwheels, somersaults, we need to have balance. So with that, I'm going on like this. Now, if I don't have rotation, and this is what movement lesson, my method is about, then you can see where that water is very unstable. Now I can do this, and it's actually can get quite violent and come away from it. But if I do the same kind of fast motion and add rotation, that water can't take off, right? You can't have that, it won't go. No matter what I do, it always remains stable. And this is where I say that for babies to develop, they have to have inner rotation to milestone. They need this stability, which comes with rotation. If we don't have rotation, right, well, that's spastic CP with that. And that's why movement lesson works the way it does, because we take away this kind of response to gravity in our inner balance, and we start to stabilize the body. And then if I have low tone, it's as if this glass were to fall over, or more so, we have a typical fluid dynamics. Now our fluid dynamics seems slower. For a child to move this slowly, right? If I were to do this, I need exceptional balance. Babies don't have exceptional balance. Or the reason I brought out my ice cubes and all these little movement experiments you could do at home. So now I'm just putting in a couple of ice cubes. You just saw what the water was. But see, now the water has to not only respond to its horizon, or if I went like something like that, it's not as violent, but it's heavier, right? Because it's trying to deal with the mass of the ice cubes, which could happen due to, again, esotropia or even let's say a shunt or something like that, where it's an external mass. So when you're working with a child, or your child has these kind of issues where vision and balance comes into play. Now this is one of the many visual dynamics that will affect or can affect balance of your child. But you have to understand how they move within that space. A child like this, again, this might be nystagmus, a real shaky, and you can have nystagmus and esotropia, right, where you're here. Now, this is your child's now new vestibular system that they're getting from their visual field into their brains, into their body. And this is where, even no matter we're like this, movement lesson comes into play, and we work. So first of all, your child needs to learn that they can initiate the movement, which is coming to their what I call the absolute horizon, which is this, what you might say center. And then they have to learn how to then stimulate these movements and then enhance them. If you want to learn more about your child's vision and movement, it's a free course. It covers the 5 top diagnoses, which are the esotropia, exotropia, CVI, nystagmus, nearsighted, farsighted, and then also qualities of movement within vision. It's got the tips that you need to go to your ophthalmologist. It has your little course guide of how to work with, say, with nystagmus and weak binocular vision and convergence, and all that you can have. My child used to be legally blind, and now he's not. He's done it through years of work and hard work on all of our parts. I just want what I have for my child for your child. So if you have any concerns, first of all, for vision, you have to see a pediatric ophthalmologist. However, we have COVID going on. There's no early intervention. Getting in and see everything is delayed, everything's put on hold. We don't know what the answers are. Waiting 3 months for your child is not acceptable as far as if you want to be aggressive to help them with their movement. And the best gift you can give your child is movement. So down below at movementlesson.academy, you'll see the links below on how we can help you with vision in your child. Again, it's a free course. It's a pretty substantial course for you to, again, understand more about your child's vision. And I'll see you at my next live. Let me know how you think. Thanks.